Happy Monday, folks. Welcome back. How you been? I hope you had a good weekend, as always. Restful, or maybe busy, exciting, all of the above. Por que no los dos? Either way, welcome in, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you, and I hope you're doing well as we kick off another week here. Another Monday, another beginning. Who knows what's in store for us this week? I don't know, but I'm excited, huh? Alyssa, good to see you. How have you been? Been writing away, right? I'm pretty sure I've been seeing even pretty productive over there. I hope that's going well for you. Tell me about it. It's honestly, that is the best thing you can be doing. Simply just working on the next thing. Write one book or story, send it where it needs to go, be that a publisher or a contest or whatever, and then start on the next one and have fun every step of the way. That's the process, man. That's the formula. It'll get you there. Folks over on the video app, good morning. Happy Monday to you. I can't say the name because TikTok gets mad at me, but it starts with a Y and ends with a tube. I'm live there as well. How y'all doing? Good to see you and welcome in. Hope you've got a good weekend behind you and a great week ahead of you. Let's find out together, huh? Tracy, how you doing? Nice to meet you and welcome in. Alyssa, you said you got the first draft done finally. Now up to the editor and the next project's underway. Hey, that's what I was saying. Rock on. That's what I want to hear. Off to the editor and on to the next one. I often get questions about what can you do after, while the editor has the manuscript, etc., etc. Start on the next thing. It's truly the best thing to do, but you're already doing it. You know what's up. Tracy, you say you're new to the stream. Hey, we love that. Welcome in. How are you doing? Are you a reader, a writer? Just someone watching, browsing the interwebs to see what streams are going on? Tell me. Rafi, you said your dreams were too busy this weekend. You walked on the highway for hours and packed. Packed for what, my guy? What's going on over there? Queen Rosalia, good to see you and welcome in. I appreciate you joining me on this fine Monday morning. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. This email never works at gmail.com. You ever get any emails when I say your name on stream, my guy? Because I always say it by the full name. But how you doing, man? All is well. We had a good weekend. Went to the book fair on Friday, sold a whole lot of books, met a whole lot of readers. Signed a lot of books, man. I think I killed a whole Sharpie there. It was a good weekend. Tantalized, you said, thoughts on Alan Wake. I haven't played it. I am aware of it. I think it's a really cool story. Honestly, this is going to be weird, but my biggest interaction with Alan Wake is a song about it by a YouTube creator called The Stupendium, who is amazing. You should watch all their stuff. But Alan Wake seems like a really cool concept. I would like to dive into it deeper one day. Sung Moon, hello, good morning to you. No F1 last weekend, Sung, but this weekend we finally got some. Jack Ann, hello, good to see you. Congrats on the successful signing. You said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It went well. It was really fun, you know. I always kind of dread going to them ahead of time just because the amount of extra work. It's on me. If I'm going to be working 3 to 11 p.m. on a Friday for a book fair, I probably shouldn't do a full day of work before that, so we'll work on that. But, you know, it's still awesome to see everybody, and I have such a good time once I'm there. Hunter, you said, is marketing your own books hard? Yeah, man, it is. It is. There's a lot of different things you got to try, and you got to gauge if they work or not. Like, you got to be your own marketing department. It is a lot of work, unfortunately. I don't love it. Alyssa, you said congrats on the sales this weekend. That's awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very validating to go and see readers in person and sell books to them, you know? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Raffi. That's not fun. I hope you can find a nice, comfortable place to replace it with, right? Oh, Hunter, you're aware of the Stupendium. Rock on, dude. I love Stoops. Incredible creator. Frankly, illegally good at wordplay. I'm very jealous. As someone who does this professionally, I'm very jealous. Queen Rosalia, you've been stuck with too many thoughts on your current writing. Sorry to hear that, but hey, that's kind of a good thing, right? It can slow you down if you got too many directions you're being pulled in, but try to pick one that seems the most fun and work on it for like an hour. See where that gets you. At the end of it, assess, do I want to keep going this direction or I want to try something different? Sometimes that helps you, kind of weed out what you want to be working on. Katsuki Bakugo. What books did I work on? All of these and more. But these are at the very least my book ones. They're all linked in my bio if you want to check them out. Bottom row, Lit RPG. Top row, Fantasy. Thank you for asking. And my most recent is right here. It's a comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip. Satirizes other fantasy books. It's very silly, very Terry Pratchett-esque. Feel free to check it out. Sung Moon, Charles will pull through on Coda this weekend. Hey, fingers crossed. I'd love to see it. Tantalized, you said Alan Wake is a character. To me, he's a very likable character, which gave me inspiration to write my first book. Hey, rock on, dude. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. Hopefully you don't get trapped in your own books, though. Katsu, you said, what's my favorite book that I've worked on? Well, obviously, I have no favorite children. I have no favorite children. One more time, I have no favorite children. Hopefully that answers your question. Sung Moon, you said your Wriggly Little Hands copy is currently in Amsterdam, so hopefully arriving this week. Hey, fingers crossed. I'm sorry it's taken so long to get to you. I don't know how shipping to Norway works from Amazon EU, but it sounds like it's slow, so I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it gets there, though. James, over on the video app with the red icon that starts with a Y and ends with a tube that I can't say the name of on here, asked, do you think AI will be replacing authors? I can't say never, but I don't see the technology being there at this present time. And I also think there's an intangible and yet highly valuable weight to a human creator who has... the story has been filtered through their thoughts and experiences. Your unique voice is what makes the story most interesting, and I don't think AI can replicate that. Haas Fit. Do I self-publish? I do. I also work with publishers, and I was TradPub back in the day. So kind of all three. I think the only thing I haven't really done is like web novel publishing. I'd say there's like 4 forms of publishing right now. There's traditional publishing, self-publishing, small press publishing, and web novel publishing. Those are the 4 most common that I see in regards to writing to sell. And I do 3 of those. So a true hybrid author. SJ said, have I ever scrapped work and started fresh? Was it worth it? I have. I try not to because it's, as someone who writes to sell, time that I invest in writing is my work time, so it costs me money to scrap projects. Really, though, the main thing is simply, and once you've written enough books, you kind of get good at it that you don't have as many issues halfway through. That being said, I do have one infamous novel that I have rewritten 40 to 50% to completion like 3 times. I've put so much time into it, and it's just not working out. So yeah, I've done that once in a while, but I think it's important to finish what you start when it comes to writing. At the very least, leave it in a good place, but also don't be tied to it. I know that sounds contradictory, and it kind of is. There's a lot of contradictions in this job. Icarus Tempest over on the video app said, what is your final goal/achievement you want to reach as an author? Oh, final's tough. Final's a hard thing to answer. I think I'll say instead what I want is to have a comfortable living as an author and consistently write books that I'm proud of and that readers enjoy. And I'm pretty much there. I want to grow my sales. That's my focus right now. Tide and Tara, good morning. Welcome in and good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. What's your opinion on AI videos used to advertise, considering AI is so taboo for writing? I personally, in a general sense, I am anti-AI. I believe there are many ways that it can help us. There are really cool things that AI can do, but when it comes to creative industries, I think I'd rather see people make a living doing that than robots. That's not to say there's not things AI can't do very well, but in creative industries, creativity is something that we do because we enjoy it and to tell stories, and I think that the human element is very important there. Icarus, you said, thanks for answering my question. You seem like a cool guy. Well, thank you, my friend. Anytime I hear that, I think of, have you seen the movie What We Do in the Shadows? There's a line that's like, one of the characters is like, look, Deacon, you're a cool guy, but, and all Deacon hears is, well, thank you, I am cool. I am a cool guy. So thank you, Icarus, I am a cool guy. No, too kind. You said, which one of your works would you recommend I read first? It depends on what you're into. So I'll say pick one of the fantasy ones, I think. If you like dark epic fantasy with like big action, Servant of Rage. If you like comedy fantasy, it's very goofy, lighthearted, a little bit feel good, very chaotic, Wriggly Little Hands. And if you like Jurassic Park in a fantasy setting, The Far Wild. Pick one of those 3. They're all available on Amazon and as audiobooks, paperbacks, ebooks, etc., etc., etc. And they're linked in my bio. Thank you for asking, my friend. Let's see, a lot of questions rolling in. Soup Cat, am I making maps today? No, on Mondays we don't make maps. Monday is generally an AMA stream or kind of a rotating. Sometimes we just kind of change it up based on what we're feeling. Uberkev, there was a part 1 of this. My girlfriend is a longtime scriptwriter. She has all over 5 storylines written with overlapping arcs. It's very impressive, but she doesn't want to show it. How would I go about getting it out here for her? Well, it's something that she'll have to make that decision for herself. So just be encouraging, be supportive, and help her get there, in her own time. I think that's the best thing you can do. Nagback says, how do you motivate yourself? Oh boy, it was a tough one. Okay, so motivation. I have a video out here on TikTok that's about motivation is, now I'm going to misquote myself, but I'm pretty sure I said it's 2 parts consistency and 1 part passion. So really routine is the best way to motivate yourself. But today was a tough one, man. That alarm went off today and I was like, oh, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do it. So sometimes you just got to drag yourself, into doing what you said you're going to do. I said I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's 6 a.m. on a Monday. Stream time, baby. How long does it usually take me to write a chapter? About 2 hours. 2 hours if I'm taking it nice and slow. But I write short chapters as well. It's going to vary based on the length of the chapter and how fast you write. And there's nothing wrong with that. Write at the pace that works for you. Sung Moon, Tide and Terra, one happy harpy. Thank you for being here. And thank you for sending the heart me's. Y'all, you know how it works around here. If on this stream, if you give a gift, you get a gift. So these are for you. Thank you very much, y'all. And there were 3 of those, so 1 more for you. You know the rules with the goblins. You're welcome, Jonathan. Good to see you in, by the way, and happy Monday to you, man. Dragon K Made. You like world building. How do you world build? So I tend to, if I just world build in a vacuum just for fun, I could just go forever. I get distracted and go down rabbit holes. It's a lovely experience. But since I write to sell, I tend to world build as I write the story. So I'll start with a rough idea of the world, some general concepts, and then I'll write the story, and I build the world around the story. Not like the entire world warps around the story itself, but I build out the world as needed, essentially. If that makes sense. Glara, you said rainy nor'easter day today. It's fireplace and rainy day. Oh, boy, that sounds lovely. That sounds absolutely lovely. Enjoy that, Glara. It's probably nice and cool up there, too, right? Y'all are actually, like, having fall. You live in a place that actually happens there. Sounds lovely. In Houston, it's nicer, but it ain't fall yet. Tam, you said for you it's about 2,000 words fully edited and about 2 hours for writing a chapter. Rock on. Yeah, that's about where I'm at. I'm a similar pace. I think I aim for 1,800 these days. I used to aim for 2,400, but I like shorter chapters, so I tend to write them a bit shorter now. But good on you. Good pace. Ricky Dicky Doodah Grimes. That's a fun name. You said, thank you so much for inspiring me to write. Your advice gave me a while ago has really helped. Hey, rock on, dude. I appreciate you. I'm glad that helped you. That's awesome. What are you working on? What are you writing? If you want to say. No pressure, of course. Titan Terry, you said, what's fall? Yeah, I agree. You're in Louisiana, so you're right. You just right down the Gulf Coast from me. I imagine our weather is pretty similar. Fall is that thing that happens around December for us, when the humidity goes down a little bit, and there's maybe a cool breeze once in a while. Raffi, you said you'll take 75 degrees and balmy? Remind me where you're at, Raffi? You don't like fall? You don't like the best season? Hey, Jonathan, no worries, man. I hope work goes well for you. Thanks for tuning in for a bit. And rock on, dude. Who knows what this week has in store, but go out there and get it. Frankie, you said, what genre do you write, and who's my favorite author? I write fantasy and lit RPG, so fantasy and lit RPG. And this is my newest one. It's a fantasy comedy about goblins on a road trip. And in line with that, my favorite author, look, it varies week to week. I kind of have like 5 favorite authors, and I just like pick one every time someone asks. My favorite author right now, I'm going to go with Terry Pratchett. I really love Terry Pratchett's work. It's incredible how he can write something so goofy and silly and yet poignant and moving. It's truly impressive. How about you, my friend? Tide and Terra fall only lasts 1 week down here, then it's 32 degrees out. That tracks. That tracks. Oh, Raffi, you're in Connecticut. Okay, no wonder you don't want fall. You're spoiled with it. You get enough fall up there as it is. Well, consider me jealous. Lucas, you'd love fall, but it rains too much where you live. Okay. Because too much of any one thing is it will annoy you, right? I used to be in Florida, and eternal summer does wear on you after a time. Despite it being beautiful sunny days, you start to miss the things you don't have. Then you move to get those things, and you miss the things you had, and you can never win, right? That's why you got to live somewhere right on that perfect Mason-Dixon line. You get all the seasons. Lance, good morning to you, buddy. Happy Monday. How you doing today? You have a good weekend? Do anything fun? Ah, Tam. Good call. You said anyone else using text-to-speech as a last pass in editing? Yeah, it's pretty useful. Thankfully, these days I have editors to do that for me. That's really the most effective way because you get so blind to your own typos and whatnot. And often when you're in the world of the story and you're deep in it, it's easy to take for granted the knowledge that you have about the story and realize that readers may not have that. So it's good to have a fresh perspective from an editor. But if you're trying to catch typos and trying to make sure everything flows and sounds right, text-to-speech is a great way to do that. It's a good trick. Tide and Terry, you asked, biggest surprise opinion I've had from readers after my work has been published? Interesting. That's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know, Tide and Terra. Surprise opinion. I guess, I didn't realize people would like Horse as much as they did in Wriggly Little Hands. I mean, I like Horse as a character. I mean, look at this. I can't point that high, but right there in the top center. Look at that guy. He's insane. Who doesn't want a goofy undead horse companion to ride around on? That being said, fans really took to him. And I didn't expect that. It's nice. I'm glad to see it. I think that's probably it. I don't know, though. I'm not entirely sure. How's your book going, by the way, Tide and Terror? What are the next steps you're looking at for it? Livy Hollis, you said you think fall is just so magical. I agree with you. My favorite time of year. Absolute favorite time of year. It's just lovely. I'd really like to be somewhere with more fall. I used to live in Boston and I didn't appreciate it enough then, you know? MMD Freak over on the video app, that's very funny. You love fall because your 3D printer cools down insanely fast. Hey, you know what? Valid. I work out outside once a week. I do other workouts, but once a week I work out at the park. And I'm telling you what, when it's cool out, I can get that workout done 30 to 40% faster. It really is relevant. Jace Hunter, how do you decide what to do for the hardcover books, like designing color, cloth, stamping, etc.? So for like paperbacks, I think you're saying print books, we could say, because hardcover versus softcover, hardback versus paperback. What do you mean? So you're saying like page color, cream versus white, you know, weight of the paper, etc., etc. I typically, so sometimes when I'm working with publishers, they decide that stuff, so I don't have to worry about it. If I am self-publishing, or for whatever reason providing input on that, I will just try to match it to my existing books, which are pretty much in the Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing standard format. I use cream paper, 5x8 dimensions. Whatever weight they come with by default. I really think about the cost effectiveness of the options we're picking there, because you want to not waste money on, you know, thicker paperweight or something. Like, it's nice, so you want to find a weight that you like, but it's easy, especially with Amazon, they'll trick you into like paying for extra stuff you don't need, and that really hurts your margins per sale. Jeremy said, good to be back. What's up, my guy? Welcome back. A pleasure to have you. How you doing, man? Do you have a good weekend? Duck Animations asked, do I like ducks? Yeah, ducks are cool. I had a lot of Muscovy ducks where I grew up, so I'm fond of Muscovies, even if some people don't like them. They all do sound like they have asthma, which is a very funny trait for a duck to have. So I dig them. And Brood, good to see you as well, buddy. You said you changed your look because it's Halloween. I can't make your profile picture bigger here through the stream software. I can see something there. I'll have to look after stream. But hey, happy upcoming Halloween, my guy. Let's see. Tide and Terry, you're currently halfway through beta reading, then querying. All right. Very nice. Good luck to you. I have my fingers crossed for you. Let's go. Good luck for it. Lucas, you said, what's your personal favorite character from one of your books? Um, so this one, this cover never gets featured in the big view. Let me pull it up real quick. This book didn't sell that well, not well enough for a sequel. It is a lit RPG fantasy, but it has a character in it named Exalted Vio. That's her screen name, at least, that she goes by. I really like her. She's a really crazy, interesting character, and she doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. If y'all have read The Far Wild, my fantasy thriller, Senecio, the guy on the cover, is a similar character to Vio. They're cut from the same cloth, but a little bit different. So if you've read that and you've enjoyed Senecio, you should check out Exalted Vio in Rise to Glory. Glara, you said you lived in JP. Where in Boston were you? What's JP? I don't know what JP stands for in the context of Boston. Oh, Jamaica Plain? Okay, nice. I was in Winthrop, out past East Boston, so pretty far out there. Half of the folks in Boston didn't know where Winthrop was, and that's how Winthrop likes it. It was lovely, though. Lived on a hill above the bay, looking at the North Atlantic. When you fly into Boston Logan, if you take the approach east to west, you flew right over my house. Glara, serious world building question. For flora, fauna, food, how much do you create all new species versus normal? Probably 10 to 20% are all new, the rest are normal. I find that if you inundate readers with too many all original things, it can become overwhelming. It's nice to have the familiar up to a certain point and then a little twist on it with new stuff. That's how I like to do it. It's my personal formula. So I'd say 10 to 20% is all new stuff. But also, have fun with it, if you want to create more, create more. MMD Freak over on the video app. You said, I love writing. It feels very liberating to put your mind to paper. I wish I could explain how much more expressive German can be. So many ways to describe one thing. It's beautiful, but English isn't easy. Oh, English is easy. Interesting, MMD. Yeah, I know a bit of German. I can imagine how it would be very expressive. That's pretty cool. Hey, write in whatever language you want. Obviously the English market's the biggest for publishing and whatnot, but to a detriment, I'm very much more in the camp of write what's fun to you and what's creatively interesting to you. I think that at a base level, that's going to be more validating and more fulfilling. Not everybody's writing to sell. But also, I imagine German market readers would appreciate having stuff in German, assuming you're writing to sell. Jeremy, you said you're worried about your dog. She's not doing well. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. That's not ideal. I hope she gets better. What's going on with her? Jace, you said, I didn't even think about paper color or weight. That's such a fine detail. Yeah, it's something to think about in publishing. Cream paper is the standard. White's another common option, but white is for textbooks and stuff. For fiction, cream is really the color to go with. Time to Chill, you said, I've just seen my video about maps. Started Wheel of Time. Try to do the same. You're trying to do the same with that map. The same as what? Imagine locations in there and whatnot. That is fun, right? Love doing that. I've not looked at the Wheel of Time map. I'll have to pull that up. Maybe we do that on Wednesday. Last Wednesday we did a new stream format where we pull up, you guys recommend your favorite fantasy maps, and I pull them up and look at them. Nerd out about them, just kind of imagine them, learn, study a little bit, which leads into Friday when we make fantasy maps. So maybe we pull up the Wheel of Time map on Friday, or on Wednesday. Could be fun. Jay, how many copies do I need to sell to do a sequel? It varies book to book, but something to think about is with sequels, a sequel will never sell more copies than book one. So you have to be at the bare minimum happy with the amount of copies you've sold for book one before you consider a sequel. Because in a sequel, you will be able to re-tap the audience that bought book one, but it's very rare that it's going to draw in more readers. Except beyond, a sequel will give your book one a little bit of a bump in the Amazon algorithm, so more people it might be shown to more people. But yeah, You'll never sell more copies of book 2 than you will of book 1. So as long as book 1 sells enough that you're happy with, then you can do a sequel. For Rise to Glory, which is, I think, the book that spurred that question, I think I only sold maybe low 4-digit copies, like 1,000 copies of it maybe, which is not bad, but it's certainly not enough to do a sequel, unfortunately. Alicia, good morning. Welcome in. Happy Monday to you. You like the new background? Hey, thank you. I wanted to put that there because that's what I see behind my computer. So I figured it was appropriate. You know, that's kind of an important part of the decor in my office. Although it's very empty now because the books here and here and there, those are my copies that I'm selling in person of my paperbacks and hardbacks. And we sold out of like all of them at the book fair this weekend. So it's like totally empty. I got to reorder, man. People bought them up. The Seth Ward, thank you for the heart me, my friend. I appreciate you. You give a gift, you get a gift. This little guy's for you. Thank you very much. We have rules about the goblins. I'll give you one of them. Rule number 1, don't feed him after midnight. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Lance, you said you're definitely writing for yourself. You can't wait until December when you release your debut novel. Hey, rock on, man. I didn't know it was coming out that soon. You got a title? Can you share the title? In what genre? Give us the deets, my guy. Tide and Terra, you said book read suggestions. Quicksilver. It's been unique compared to normal tropes. Quicksilver, who's it by? And what's it about, Tide and Terra? Isabel asked, is it alright for a book to never end up how you originally imagined it? It's not only alright, I think it's a good thing. I think that's part of the magic of writing, right? Like, you can plan and plot as much as you want, but when you actually sit down and write and like start knocking it out, there's really no telling where the story's going to go. And that's kind of a cool thing. Something that I've really enjoyed but had a bit of trouble adapting to, but as I adapt to it, enjoy it more and more, is kind of letting go of the control when I write and realizing that it's kind of like skydiving. You just got to throw yourself out there, and you're not entirely sure where you're going to end up, but it's going to be a fun ride on the way down. I'll say that. So I really appreciate that my books can end up quite different than how I imagined them. In a way, you kind of tap into your subconscious and tell a story that you didn't expect. I like that a lot. Let's see. Josh, if you ever write a book, you'll start with black with white text. Oh, good lord. Josh, the ink cost on that would be insane. I guess maybe if you could source black paper and then just do white ink on it, it would be the same ink cost, but oh boy. I'm getting a headache just thinking about looking at that thing. It's dark mode for paper. Millie, good morning to you. Welcome in. How you been? Trap Legend Juan said, what's the hardest part about making a full story? The hardest part, I think the consistency. I write really fast compared to most authors. I do a book in about 2.5 months. So I typically do like 3 to 4 books a year. The hardest part is showing up every day to keep working on it, because even writing quick like I do, it still takes 2.5 months of working every day to get that book done. And it's hard to just like maintain your excitement for an idea you had 2 months ago and been working on every day since. That's why consistency is so important. Glara, what do I use to outline? Just Google Docs. I just outline in Google Docs. Now, I will say, I am terrible at outlining. That is probably my weakest aspect as an author. So outlining always takes me longer than I want, despite my best efforts to make it quicker. Because even when I put a lot of work into outlining, I end up not using it all. Like, the bare bones is all I need to get me in the right direction, and the fun goes from there. So I'm very weak about outlining. I got to get better at it. But yeah, I just use Google Docs. I've used other programs before, but I feel like they overload me. Google Docs is really just the way to go. Oh, someone earlier asked, what do I think about self-insert fiction? I meant to respond to that. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a different way of writing. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's yeah, it's just a different approach, but it can be very fun. I've never done it personally. I want to try it one day, just because I realized that I haven't done it. Jackhand, if all of my main characters battled, who would win? Well, I mean, that's tough, because they're from different worlds, right? So, like, the strongest canonical character I've written is Sube, right here on the cover of Servant of Rage. My guy has straight-up inhuman powers, but, like, the goblins and wriggly little hands, one of my background rules, here we'll pull back the curtain a little bit, one of my rules for the universe there, for them being silly, goofy books, is that the goblins don't get hurt. They're innocent, cute little goofy guys, so no one wants to see them in pain. So, like, the goblins would never fight Sube, but if they did, he wouldn't be able to hurt them. So, how do you judge a winner out of that? Then again, also, there is just a giant Komodo dragon in the far wild that's, like, 80 feet long, so if you want to call that a character, that might be the strongest. MMD Freak, you said I love writing for... Oh, there's the question I meant to answer. You said, I love writing for myself. It's good therapy. Thoughts on self-inserts. Also, I don't burn out when I write just as quickly as when I draw. I wish I knew why. Hey, if you're not burning out, man, don't question it. Just rock and roll. That's good stuff. That's what I want to hear. How many words do I write in a day? I generally do 1,800 to 2,400 words a day. I've been able to push up to about 3,000 a day, but that's an unhealthy amount for me because writing's really a marathon, not a sprint. I got to be able to do a word count that I can do 5 days a week. So I stick to about 1,800 is my target, and then sometimes I write over a little bit. Tam, you started writing because you ran out of what you wanted to read. Yeah, right there with you, Tam. I love that. That's exactly why I started. You know, you read all these books and you enjoy them and you have fun with them, and then one day, this sneaky little thought pokes into the back of your head and says, well, I could write this, right? I could do that. Let me try that. And next thing you know, here we are, down who knows how long of a path to get to this point. It's fun how we get here, huh? Get off my lawn, guy. What's up, my dude? Welcome in. Happy Monday to you. Did you have a good weekend? Do anything cool? Tell me about it, man. Jack-Ann, you do know authors who do blackout editions of their books? The cost is crazy. Yeah, I believe that it is. That's insane. Anytime you're going to get custom like that, it's going to get a little bit crazy. Why do they do the blackout editions? Do you know? Slendy, you said forcing yourself to write's hard work. It is. It is. That's where routine comes into play. If you write, on a set schedule, then even on the days that you don't want to write, you're like, yeah, but that's what I do right now. That's my schedule. So you kind of stick with it. Also, I don't think I said hello to you, Slendy, but good morning, my guy. How's Mingy doing this morning? Isabel, what is outlining? Outlining is laying out the plot for your book so that you know where the book's going to go. There's some people do it more intensely. Some don't do it at all. I'm somewhere in between, on the lesser side of outlining. But it's really it's plotting your novel, essentially. Raffi, you said you didn't know Aaliyah and Busta Rhymes worked so well together on Remix. Is Remix an album? I'm not aware of, or a song. I didn't know that either. What are you working on, Raffi? Are you listening to music while you work, or are you working on music? See ya. Did I finish that make a map thing I was doing on my other stream? We got very close. We'll continue it this week, but I have 2 maps that I'm here. We'll pull them up real quick, y'all. I have 2 maps that I've been working on. Let me get this set up correctly. There it is. We have 2 maps I've been working on. So this big boy, and then the new one. We are going to keep working on them this week. The big one we'll continue working on for some time. The new one we're gonna probably finish this week. So this is the big one we've been working on. A lot of fun, a lot to do in this one. There's a lot. I mean, you can really zoom in here. Once you start like adding trees at this level and stuff, it's gonna take a hot minute. And then the new one is right here, much smaller, less detail. This is the one we'll probably finish this week. That's my goal, at least, because I'm working on trying to finish them a bit quicker. And I also just wanted to get some practice on a couple things. So yeah, we're still working on them. And we'll be doing that. That's my Friday stream format. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. Hope to see you there. All right, let's see what else what I missed. Do you have to format for KDP? Titan Terra asks. Yes, you need to upload a formatted manuscript. I use Vellum, which is a Mac-only program, but Atticus is the Windows equivalent, and you'll use that to format your manuscript ahead of time. They're very helpful programs for that. I used to pay a lot of money to get my books formatted until I learned you could do it yourself. And I mean, obviously, when I work with my publishers, as always, the caveat, when I work with my publishers, they format the book for me. When I self-publish, I format it. But those programs are great for that. Jack Ann, you said Blackout specials Blackout special editions sell well in the dark romance genre. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Get off my lawn, guy. The wife had you on the lawn all weekend. Very appropriate for your name. I bet it looks good now. Good now, though. Got it all cleaned up. Trap Legend Juan, is it possible to skip publishing if I just release it all online? Well, that is a form of publishing. So you are skipping traditional publishing or small press publishing in favor of self-publishing or perhaps web novel publishing. It might fit into either of those categories. But yeah, that's still publishing. Really, anything that gets it out to the readers, you could qualify as publishing, I suppose. Slendy, you once wrote a lot of words in a day and your wrist didn't like it. You can get weird injuries from writing. Like anything. I mean, it's not a lot of movement, but like anything, you are still moving, you're still working in weird ways. And if you do it long enough, it can bother you, you know? I've had a lot of repetitive strain injuries right in here on my wrist. Or just like back pain from being in the chair too long. Those only really pop up for me these days when I do like a deadline crunch and I'm writing like 10,000 words a day. Ideally, we don't do deadline crunches anymore. That's my goal. So we'll see how well I can stick to that. MMD Freak over on the video app, you said outlining is hard for me. It's like a tree diagram that I have to sort into a timeline. Yeah, man, it's hard. It is hard. You also said carpal tunnel. Let's go. Yeah, carpal tunnel sufferers unite. You're going to head off and continue working on your novel? Well, thank you for being here, my friend. I appreciate having you. We stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time, so please feel free to drop in for the next one. Love to have you. Enjoy that cool weather, my dude, and I hope the carpal tunnel's not too bad for you. Millie, you asked how many times did I watch K-pop Demon Hunters? I don't know, 10 maybe over the course of a month or so, something like that. I know, rookie numbers compared to the massive fans, right? What about you, Millie? Do you got your count? Glara, you said I definitely revised my outline a lot. You just scrapped an entire character. Yeah, well, if revising the outline works for you, then rock on. Some folks like to plot every little detail. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's whatever works best for you. I like to plot every little detail, and then when I get writing, I just completely go off in my own way and destroy all that work. So I've realized it's not a good use of my time. But for those that can plot every detail ahead of time and actually stick to it, sounds lovely. Get it. Mag Behavinako, I'll call you Mag, said, how long do you write for in a day before you were an author? Oh, so like before I went full time, I would work my office job, till 5 o'clock. And then I would, as quickly as I could, eat dinner and go to the library. And I would write from about 7 to about midnight, or like 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. at the library. So yeah, that was for Monday to Thursday. That was my schedule before I was able to go full time. Tam, you said it might be unhealthy, but I managed to get myself addicted to writing. Helps with consistency. How did you do that? That's nuts. I'm very interested in this. Rafi, you said remix just pertains to mixing both of their songs. Oh, okay, so you're working with their music right now, Rafi, and you're saying that they work well together when you mix them. Gotcha. I understand. Sick, dude. Show us the finished product once you get it. Thank you, Isabel, for answering the question about Incarnate. I appreciate you. Tide and Terra, you said your outlines are very loose. You just needed the conflict for the chapter. See, I'm kind of right there with you. I like the looser outlines. It leaves you room to surprise yourself, right? The first time that you write a book, your first draft, I should say, is the last time that you can surprise yourself with that story. Readers are going to come into it not knowing what comes next, but as the author, we're always thinking about what's next, right? So when you don't have a detailed outline, there's room to surprise yourself, and you get to experience the story closer to a reader that way, and I like that. Aquafina Guzzler, what a name. You said, what kind of books do you write? I write fantasy and lit RPG. So here's some of my book ones. Fantasy is up top, and the lit RPG is down below. Thank you for asking. They are all linked in my bio. You can find them online. But this is the new one. Oh, and you know what? Let me tell you, y'all, some fun news. I think I announced this on Stream Friday, but you're all aware of Wriggly Little Hands, my comedy fantasy about goblins on a road trip. That's my newest book. But my newest novelette is right here, A Wriggly Little Assistant. This launched on Friday. So, this is a fun little prequel to Wriggly Little Hands. It's a novelette, which is a little bit shorter than a novella. 17,000 words, call it a long short story. It's really in a weird place. You could call it a novella. You could call it a short story. It's on Amazon now for 99 cents if you want to grab a copy. Or if you use the link in my bio to sign up for my newsletter or join my Discord, you'll get it for free. So if you want to either sample my writing for free or get a little extra content from the world of Wriggly Little Hands, that novella is out now. Feel free to try it out. It's a lot of fun. I loved writing it, and I'm working on the sequel to Wriggly Little Hands now, so we are building out that world as we go. Skinny Jeans Bean said, I think I have enough words that were discarded to create a novel in and of itself. I feel that. I feel that deeply, down to the core. But don't throw them away. You can take them out of the story, but never get rid of them. You never know when you might need them. Derek Bourne, my dude. What's up, buddy? How you been? What have you been up to? Book sales going good? I know you're tackling a lot of exciting stuff last time we checked in, man. How's it going? Dove. What did I say? Dove. I'm assuming it's Dove Gennardo. Welcome in, my friend. Happy Monday to you. You have a good weekend? Get Off My Lawn guy said, I don't outline at all. I find a thing I think I want to get to, and then I write to that. Sounds fun, man. Rock on. I'm kind of there with you. A little bit of an outline, but that sounds like a fun way to do it. Like I said, you'll surprise yourself. You don't know what's coming next. Jack Ann, you said, I write a little blurb for the chapter, but it rarely matches what I plan. I can see that. I like that idea, though. Little blurb for the chapter. Like, real short sentence or two. Andre said, what are we guzzling? The username was Aquafina Guzzler. So I guess we are guzzling purified water. Not my preference on water choices, but go for it. Robin, how do I get motivation to do a writing session? Well, hopefully you just have fun with it, you know? Pick something that you're most excited about writing. It could be whatever you want it to be. Hey, it could be like Derek Bourne here in chat who said, you know what, we need more dinosaurs in the world, and made it happen. It's whatever you want, dude. Just have fun with it. Pick something that you're super excited about and sit down and write a little bit of it. I feel like writing has to start from a place where you're having a lot of fun and you're super excited to do it. The readers can tell. The readers can tell if you had fun when you were writing or not. Dracula, my guy, welcome in. You said I need food recommendations. I don't know what to make. Well, what do you got in the cabinet? Give us some ingredients. Maybe we can shout out some food for you, huh? Derek, you said you're doing good. How have I been? Been good, man. I was at a book fair Friday night, and we sold out of pretty much everything we brought. Brought 3 crates of books, came back with less than 1. Toward the end of the night, I had to apologize. I was like, sorry, y'all, I've sold out of various copies. This isn't my full selection, but it was great. Awesome. Met a whole bunch of cool people, signed a ton of books. It was fun. It was a great night. I'm still tired from it, I think, but I'm an introvert, so what can I say? But no, it's going well. It's going well. Zazatron, or Zazatron maybe. How does it feel being full-time unemployed? Well, I couldn't tell you, my man, because I write full-time and I make a living off of it, so I wouldn't know. Autark, good to see you. Been a hot minute. How you doing? You said, how many projects do you write at the same time? I tend to stick for one at a time. I have a one-track brain, so I like to just write a book, get it edited, get it published, move on to the next one. I in the past have started multiple projects at once. It's okay, I can do it, but I'm very singular focused. That is my preference. Not everybody works like that, though. Derek, you said, did you ice your hand after signing all those books? Dude, I needed to ice a lot. My whole body was tired after. So when we got there, I don't do a lot of in-person events, so I don't have like a full booth set up. I just have repurposed furniture from my house. And the event started at 6 p.m., but we were there at like 4, let's say, and that Texas sun was hot. It was an outdoor event, so setting up in the sun and then standing there for 2 hours before the event even started, whoo, boy. That combination of exertion, peopling, and signing books and selling books was just a lot, but it was awesome. Titan Terror, you said that sounds like an amazing event. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was awesome. Shout out to Beyond the Covers HTX. You'll find them on TikTok. Beyond the Covers HTX. They run book fair events in town. In Houston. They are awesome. I don't know how they do it. This is the second one I've been to from them. They just put together incredible events. So many people showed up both times. Just insane. Also, and you'll notice, you might have said, I was showing them off earlier a little bit, being subtle about it. Maybe you noticed, but we got our goblins, right? Y'all seen the goblins, but the person who made the goblins was there, so I had to get a new one. So y'all, say hello to the newest goblin in the family. So he'll be going out as gifts for anytime y'all send hearts or whatever. I love his expression compared to the other goblins. He's very funny to me. So yeah, that was fun to pick up. Dracula, you said, how do I make my characters sound interesting, or at least not boring and repetitive? Give them a big personality, is what I would say. Give them 2 things that I always give my characters. I don't know why I did 2 like this. What is this? 2 things. 2 things. Give them a big personality that shows when they are on the page, and then 2, give them a flaw that they should have that is obvious. Something that holds them back from being the best they can, and help them. They would work through that as the story goes on. The readers want to see them improve as a character. So again, big personality, flaw that they'll overcome by the end of the story. I think those 2 things are kind of the easiest way to do it, Oh, and Derek's got a good answer in chat too. Said, write what you know and keep it real. Simple as that, man. Oh, Titan Terry, you want to name the goblin? All right, I'm now accepting names for our newest goblin. Throw them in chat, y'all. Kato said, how do I make a good magic system? I don't know what qualifies as a good magic system other than something you find fun and satisfying. So what I would do is think about magic systems that you've enjoyed in the past, and just take elements from them and slap it together to make your own magic system that you're excited about. The good thing about art is that good is subjective. As long as it makes us feel and keeps us entertained, or makes us think, then it's art. Some people will find it good, some won't. But as long as you have fun with it, I think it's successful. So do something that seems cool to you. I mean, hey, if we pop over to like, let's pull up Servant of Rage here. The whole concept behind the magic system in this book was, I went and I had this thought years and years ago, but I went, what if people had magic, but if when they died, that magic passed on to the person that had killed them? And built a whole book around that. That's the basic core idea of the magic in this book. I just expanded on that bigger and bigger and bigger until we had a whole story, and we've sold the rights to a publisher, so books 2 and 3 are coming as well now. So yeah, I thought that was interesting, and that's how we got that magic system. Zay, any tips for world building? I think fantasy worlds work best when they are familiar, but also distinct. So start from a familiar place, that's something that we're all familiar with, and then add twists to it. Make it different in certain ways, in ways that you find interesting. For, I guess, just going back since we were just talking about it, the world of Servant of Rage is based roughly on, like, ancient Mongolia, right after the time of, like, Genghis Khan. I found that era of history very interesting, so I based the world on that and then started making changes for the story. So I think like that, familiar, but make changes that you find interesting. SJM, is your life really as easy and perfect as everyone thinks it is? Obviously not. You know, we're all doing our best, right? But something, I'm very positive on stream, and I try to be very positive in everyday life, because I was raised kind of in a negative environment. Not like in a bad environment, but just around a lot of people who default to negativity. So I try to not be that way, because it'd be way too easy to slip into it. So I'm trying to push back against that. So I guess if I had one battle, that's my primary one, is just staying positive, choosing joy. Life's a lot better when you do that, you know? Titan Terra, you recommend Grob as a name? We could do that. Grob, does he look like a Grob to y'all, guys? What do you think? Let me know. Is this Grob? Is this little Grob? Tell me what you think. That's a good point. Skinny Jeans. Brandon Sanderson has some lectures about making magic systems. I'm not sure if he does. He has a lot of free lectures on YouTube, and they're very informative. You should definitely check them out. Big shout to Brandon Sanderson. I appreciate all the free stuff he puts out. Rip says, "Morning, Alex." Morning, Rip. How you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend. Jack Ann, new goblin name suggestions. Aha, Hot Dog, Biscuit, Wham, submitted by your children. I do like Wham. Please tell your children that's a good name suggestion. Get Off My Lawn guy, he said, I love the magic system from Name of the Wind, but just can't rob it for a story. I mean, you can. You can just change it a little bit. There's not many original ideas anymore. Every author is affected and inspired by the things that they have read, and then they iterate on those things. It's not really a downside, in my opinion. I think it's a beautiful thing. Pindock for a name for the goblin. Okay. Pindock. He sounds very formal. Rayquaza says, as an author, what's your opinion on gray characters? Like, you mean morally gray characters? I like them. They're hard to do. They can get tiring, because, like, we had a bit of a phase in publishing where grimdark was, like, all the rage, and every character was some, bitter, morally gray veteran that was, like, had a dark past and, blah, blah, blah. I like those kind of characters, but they can be overdone. But, Joe Abercrombie's one of my top 5 authors, so obviously I like the morally gray characters. I think it's just important to make them as genuine as you can, Ghost, you got an A+ today in math? Rock on, buddy. Well played. I don't know if I ever got an A+ in math. Glara said, since you did TradPub, can you walk through the first-time legal concerns for authors? Contract issues? That's a big topic. I didn't get far enough in TradPub to really have many contract issues. Um, I was just at the agent phase, and we were technically on submission, I suppose, but like no contract was signed. You typically don't sign a contract when working with an agent. So we hadn't sold any books yet, so we hadn't gotten to the contract part. As far as like small press publishing or other like working with Audible, et cetera, I've done a lot of contracts for them, with them. I haven't had too many legal concerns, aside from I made Audible's lawyers have to spend their valuable time looking up if the text of a meme could be used in a story, in the context of it being a meme. That was fun. But I've never had really contract issues. Just make sure that the percentages stated in the contract are what you agreed upon in terms of split of royalties between you and the publisher. And read the fine print, I suppose. I'm not sure if you have a more specific question on it, but those are the kind of the things that I've been focused on. Well, get off my lawn, guy. I agree with you. It's hard to be positive down there these days, huh? Makes me sad. A fallen star. You said I got a morally gray character in a story I'm writing. Rock on. What's the challenge for them? What are they morally gray about? Gordon Freeman, you said I'm thinking about writing an industrial fantasy book. What do I think? What's industrial fantasy? I've not heard of that. Sounds like it could be pretty fun though. My advice is typically don't start with novels off the bat. Start with short stories. A novel is seen as the beginning unit of a story. Like everybody's like, oh, I'm going to write a novel, and then it'll be a series. I think that's like skipping a few steps. Start with short stories, move into maybe novellas or novels if you're ready for it. But start with short stories. It's a better way to flesh out ideas, test them out, and get some practice as well. Titan Terra, you said you think that's the most unique thing the lawyers had to deal with in a while? Yeah, I think so. It was specifically the text of a meme from the Star Wars prequels as well, which I'll never get over how ridiculous that is. It was absolutely hilarious to me at the time when the editor was like, hey, legal's going to have to look into if we can use this. That is definitely a career highlight for me. Fallen Star, you said your gray character is a villain that saw her parents die due to a hero's mishap. Okay. Could see that being a reason to become a villain or a morally gray character. Cool idea. Cool idea. I hope it comes out. I hope the story comes out well. Keep me updated on it, huh? What genre is it, by the way? How long did the publishing process take? Asks Caitlin. Well, it depends. I've published through a lot of ways. If you want to do the TradPub process, that one took forever and actually never reached completion. Could say the story died on submission. For small press publishing, not too long. You know, you write it, you edit it. The publishing moves pretty quick in small press, maybe a month or two. It depends. Like, really, what it comes down to is how busy is the publisher. Are their editors free? Is their cover designer free? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For self-publishing, it moves as fast as you can, really. Your only holdup is like Amazon processing times when you upload your manuscript. And those can be pretty quick, up to as quick as a day, really. So it really depends on what process you're going with. For the most part, quick, unless it's TradPub, traditional publishing, in which case glacially slow. Like years. Like, if you were to get accepted by an agent today and sell your manuscript to a publisher tomorrow, I think you'd still be looking at a minimum of 6 to 8 months before your book hits market. They have a lot that they do with it, but they also move pretty slow with it. There's a lot. TradPub is a very confusing, layered, complex, archaic place. There's a lot of reasons why they move slow. I think there's a lot of reasons. I think they could move faster, but they also got a lot going on. I can't entirely bag on them. Clara, you said, I've seen some decent morally gray characters, but I'm tired of the 17-year-old female main character who's morally gray. How is that possible at 17? I feel you, Glara. That's so when I see a lot of folks that start off as writers, there's an instinct for some reason. There are tropes, there are molds that beginning writers very frequently funnel into, and it's not a bad thing. It's just I'd like to analyze it more one day, or perhaps someone better equipped than I to analyze it. But there's like all these tropes that you see beginning writers always fall into. And it's just part of the journey. I was in them as well myself back in the day when I started. But a morally gray teenage character seems to be one of them. It seems like every new writer has a world-weary, sarcastic main character right off the bat. And maybe it's just a character type that we're all interested in. So we start there and we want to write with it. I don't know, but I see it a lot. Something else I see is Jim popping in with another Galaxy. Jim, my guy. Big spender, just showing up, dropping cash, saying hi, my guy. How you doing? Good to see you, Jim. Hey, buddy, I got something new for you today. Obviously, you get the goblins, right? But we got a fresh one for you today. We haven't named him. I've been taking name suggestions, so feel free to submit if you want. But goblins for you, my dude. Thank you very much, buddy. Good morning. I hope you had a good weekend. You do anything cool? Got a good week ahead, I hope. Get off my lawn, guy. Did I later self-publish that first book? I did. And it became Servant of Rage right here. That's why technically Warden is my first book, because it published first. But Servant of Rage was written first, and years before Warden came out, Servant of Rage was in the traditional publishing pipeline. Before eventually going through its whole drama that I've talked about with my agent being chased from the industry, very deservedly so. As if Glara, you said, as if a sarcastic teen is a rare thing. Fair. Very fair. Jim, I'm glad you had a good weekend, buddy. Rock on, man. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and who knows what the week has in store, right? Like, Mondays can be tough because it's like, a whole new week, but I try to look at it as like, when I get to Friday, what am I going to look back on this week? What unexpected cool things happened that I didn't know were going to happen this week? That's what I'm looking forward to. Jack Ann, you said, I think sarcastic, angsty teen does give a lot of room to grow. Maybe that's the draw. It's a good analysis. I always say, look, guys, like I said earlier, characters should have personality and a flaw that holds them back that they will resolve by the end of the book. That if your character is an angsty, sarcastic teen, that is a flaw that they could grow over past by the end of the book. Give them a reason why they are angsty and sarcastic. Maybe they're protecting themselves from, stuff they've experienced in the past, and that sarcasm is a way to not care too much about things so they don't get hurt again, stuff like that. And then throughout the course of the book, you have them grow out of that shell and be brave enough to care enough. Jim, you said Monday is overhated and Tuesday isn't hated enough. Jim coming in, dropping the wisdom. I could agree with that. But I play a pinball tournament every Tuesday night with a lot of cool people in the community here south of Houston, and that makes Tuesdays pretty nice. It's always nice to go play some beautiful old pinball machines and catch up with everybody that people that would be like coworkers if I worked an office job that I don't get to see otherwise. Glara, you said, I think 2000 to 2015 had strong YA, and those readers are now writing, is my guess. I could see that. Yeah, YA was big in that time, you're right, and the kids that were reading that then, not that only kids read YA, but the folks that were reading that then might be writing now, and a lot of their foundational inspiration was YA, like Hunger Games and Divergent and Maze Runner, etc., etc. I think for me, what was really formative was Dragonlance and Magician Apprentice and Master by Raymond E. Feist. Kind of really classic traditional fantasy, which I guess that's why, you could say that's why I write such happy, positive fantasy these days. Outside of course, Servant of Rage, because that's my dark fantasy trilogy. A Fallen Star. You said the hero and the villain are both freshman college students that share a dorm room and don't know their hidden identities. I like that, Fallen Star. That's fun. That's a good setup. I like that a lot, actually. That sounds awesome. Glera, Dragon Riders of Pern was your fantasy gateway drug. I've heard that as a popular one. Yeah. The gateway drugs that broke us into the wider world of fantasy. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes, though, right? I was reading like all the Dragonlance books, and I back in the day, you know, you went to the mall, you went to the bookstore, and I was like asking the person at the bookstore, like, do you have any more like Dragonlance? Like, what's in that realm? And the guy kind of looked at me and he was like, I feel like you're at an advanced reading level. Have you ever tried like Raymond E. Feist? And I was like, no. And he took me over there and pointed it out, and like that was my step from starter fantasy to something a little bit more advanced, and really opened up into like Raymond E. Feist and then like Joe Abercrombie, more advanced, more adult fantasy, I suppose. It was a fun transition. Titan Terror, you said, it's me. I'm the YA reader turned writer. Fair play. Fair play. Nothing wrong with it. Glera. Y'all can do a group therapy in Discord of YA readers turned writers. By all means, y'all, go for it. That's hilarious. I love it, y'all. They had good maps, too. Hey. A good map. You know me, y'all. I love a map in a fantasy book. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Get off my lawn, guy. You want to get in on the therapy session, too? Rock on, my dude. Go for it. Y'all, I'm trying to think if there's like anything coming up, anything I need to tell you about, but I'm looking ahead at my schedule here, and you know what? This is a beautiful thing. My schedule this week is to write Wriggly Little Hands 2. Tuesday is to write Wriggly Little Hands 2. Can you guess what Wednesday through Friday is? If you guessed right, Wriggly Little Hands 2, you are correct, because we are in the depths of it now. This is what I'm waiting for all year. I'm just at this point of the year where I'm writing Wriggly Little Hands 2, I'm writing Servant of Rage 2, I'm writing Servant of Rage 3. Just sit back, put the feet up, and let the words sing. It's beautiful. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be good. Did a lot of publishing and promotion and editing and publishing this year, and that stuff's good and it's important, but I got into writing to write, and that's what I get to do now. Jill, you said, am I friends with Alan Wake? I am not, but I'd like to be. You were the third person today to mention Alan Wake, though. Did something happen in the collective consciousness with Alan Wake that I'm not aware of? Was there like a new, a DLC to the game or something over the weekend? Because everybody's got Alan Wake on the mind today. They woke up with Alan Wake on the mind. Titan Terror, you said, how do you set up your calendar and schedule to stay on deadline? Well, barely. I am very often behind on deadline. It's tough. So books are sneaky, right? Writing books, there's a sneaky thing where it's going to take you like a minimum of like 2 months, right, to finish the book, unless you're writing at an insane rate. So that's a lot of working days in a row. And you have to hit your word count every one of those days to stay on track. But it's so easy to just miss a couple words here, or like, I got bogged down doing other stuff. I didn't get to finish my words today. Oh, well, I'll get it tomorrow. And then you get to the last like 2-3 weeks of your book and you're like, oh my God, I'm so far behind. And that's how deadline crunches happen. Those have happened more often than not with every book I've written. I'm really trying to stop them from happening. So how do I stay on deadline? I often don't. I really would like to. That is, someone asked earlier what my author goals are. That's one of them. I'd really like to be able to stay on task a little better. It's just hard because there's so much to do in publishing, You might be writing your words and then I get a manuscript back that I need to review edits on, and theoretically I should have scheduled time for that ahead of time, but I didn't know when the editor was going to be done with it, There's a lot of tasks like that pop up. But just a little hard to predict sometimes. Val, what do you think about books that are impossible to get physical copies of? I prefer to be able to make a print copy of all of my books. I think it's a good thing to have. I understand if someone doesn't, though. It's a lot faster. It's a lot cheaper to make ebooks. I mean, hey, for instance, I've been advertising. Where is it? Right here. My newest work, this novelette, this prequel to Wriggly Little Hands. This is out now in ebook. You get it for free if you're a subscriber to my newsletter or a member of my Discord, both of which are linked in my bio, or you can get it for 99 cents on Amazon. As an example, though, I produced the ebook of this very quickly, very easily. I'm still working on the paperback. It's going to take another week or so. It's just harder to make paperbacks, and traditionally, in the traditional Amazon ecosystem, if that's where you're publishing, ebook sales are most of your sales. Print is a small minority of your sales, so I can see why you wouldn't dedicate too much time to making print books. In fact, I know several authors who don't even produce print copies of their work, so I understand why you might not. Personally, I prefer to produce it in as many copies as possible. Tam, you said no deadline with web novels. You're right, my dude. You are full right. But you kind of have different deadlines, right? If you're writing a web novel, if you're writing something that people expect you to upload a chapter or 3 a week, those are your mini deadlines, Your mini deadlines. Glara, when do you turn to beta readers and how do you select beta readers? So there's different ways to use beta readers. There are beta readers who are there to judge the marketability of your manuscript and if it's good or not. That's something you tend to have more when you're a starter author, when you're beginning. I feel, without being pretentious or egotistical, that I'm a little bit beyond that, and I mainly use what I call my ARC readers, ARC, Advanced Review Copy Readers, to help me catch typos and give me general feedback on the story, but I'm not so much worried about the marketability of the idea. I trust my own instincts and knowledge of the market for that, and have missed the mark several times, so who knows? It's a learning process. But I mainly use my ARC readers to help me catch typos and just give me general feedback if things are or are not working. And that's mainly how I use them. But it varies person to person. I think everybody kind of uses them in their own way. They have different things they seek from them. Dina, what's up, my guy? Welcome in. Did you have a good weekend? You ready for a good week? Let's get it, huh? Jim, you said, how could we as a community help you stay on task, if we even can? I appreciate that, Jim. That's super kind of you, man. Yeah, that's not your problem. Don't worry about it. I mean, just if you're here and you're excited about the books, that's enough for me. I mean, hey, read my books, leave reviews, tell me what you thought about them. That also is very encouraging. I have a folder on my computer where I save nice things people have DM'd me about my books. That is good inspiration that keeps the fire burning bright. So I suppose the answer to the question is read my stuff and review it and let me know how you liked it. That's always welcome. Tam, is making an audiobook expensive? Yes. There are cheaper ways to go about it, but on the whole, audiobooks are expensive. But they unlock your book to a whole new audience of readers, so well worth it, I think. Dino, thank you for the roses, my guy. And other name wasn't available. Thank you for the heart me. Dino, a goblin for you. Other name wasn't available. A goblin for you. Y'all, thank you very much. Take good care of them, and you know what? We've given out rule number 1, so we'll give out rule number 2 today. Rule number 2 is hide all of the matches in your house when the goblins are around. Lighters too. Val, you said also if you get paid by Web Novel to write, you have to write the same amount of chapters they ask per week. There are expectations from readers when you're writing with web novels, and you don't want to let those expectations down. It's a much more in-demand, a much more direct feedback loop. But you know what? I really respect web novel writers. It's really cool to just be like directly there with your readers. 1 to 3 times a week, maybe more. You are releasing new writing to your readers. That's super cool. I feel like web novels are one of the ways that you can make it as an author through sheer hard work. Like nothing but just showing up every day and writing those words and putting them out. It's pretty sick. I do think web novels go too long, though. I enjoy quick, snappy stories, and web novels are not that. So that's one of my complaints about them, but that's personal taste. Yes, Lance. Also, hello on TikTok now, Lance. Good to see you, buddy. The recommendation after Dragonlance was Raymond E. Feist. That is correct. Magician: Apprentice was the book. Ghost, you said fixing plot holes in stories mostly requires making new things up. Yeah, it's like fixing a plot. It's like fixing a pot hole, which I realize now that I say it aloud is too close to plot hole. Pot hole, plot hole. You go back and you pave over and you smooth out the issue. Slendy, you're about to enter a boss fight. You need to focus. Hey, get it, man. Go get it. Y'all, thank you for the follows. I appreciate that. I see those ticking up. Thank you very much. If you don't know, I'm author Alex Knight. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time, with a bonus stream here and there for video games when I'm feeling free and we just kind of want to do something. That Battlefield 6 came out last weekend. That was a ton of fun. I played way too much of that this weekend, so maybe we queue up the stream for that sometime soon. I don't know. Could be fun. But, like I said, I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central. That's the schedule. If you don't know, these are all in my books. They are linked in my bio. They are on Amazon and Audible and all those good places. Please do check them out if you're interested. This is my full-time job, so that's how I support myself. If you want to support me or the stream, please try a book. Give it a read. Give it a review. Let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoy it. Jim, do I recommend Battlefield 6? Definitely. Definitely. And I say that as someone who did not play 2042 very much. I wanted to like it. I tried to make it work. It missed that it factor, you know? Battlefield 6 has got it. It's not the best Battlefield ever, but it's a lot of fun. I am thoroughly enjoying my time in it. It's just the right amount of cool, dramatic, and the engine's just a little bit broken, so silly things happen sometimes that just make you burst out laughing. Dino, you said, according to someone I met recently, he has the first edition Harry Potter books. You've never seen one. I mean, they must exist, right? Somewhere out there. I mean, you could probably buy them. You pay enough money. My editor at Portal Books has a small collection of first edition Terry Pratchett books. It's pretty sick. I'd love to see those in person one day. Val asked, do I have signed copies of my books? I do, for just so for the signed copies, Wrigley Little Hands, you can buy signed copies of it online through my local independent bookstore. That is also linked in my bio. They are the only official retailer of signed copies of that book. But if you buy any of my books from me in person, like at the event I was at on Friday, I will sign it for you right there. Or if you really want a signed copy, buy a paperback, shoot me a message, and I will mail you a signed book plate that you can stick in the front of it. So yeah, not quite the same, but no, I'll sign the book plate and you peel it and stick it right in the front there. Build your own signed copy. Mid-mix, have I written comic books before? I've never written a comic book. Be very interested to try. You know, you have to do a lot of storytelling in very little words for comic books, and that's an interesting challenge. I'd like to try it. I would like to try that one day. Yeah, Jim, 2042 was so not worth it, man. But Battlefield 6, I just reviewed it positively on Steam. It has my seal of approval. Zane, PF, you said, I have a question. Is being an author fun? It is very fun. You know what? It's so fun that I do it despite there being so many negatives to this job. Y'all, publishing is a really wild world. The money is inconsistent. You never know if it's going to be there or not. It can be a difficult world. It can move slow at times. There's so many like pitfalls and things you got to learn. Then you got to market your books. Like there's so many things to do, and I do it all because I just love writing so much. It is genuinely what I want to do most in the world, is sit down and write the next story. So yes, I love writing. If you love it and it seems fun to you, I recommend you go for it. It's not without its trials and tribulations, but it's very fun. Blueberry, can I draw? Not well. I've never. I enjoy drawing. I've just never worked at it too much. I've done a little bit of painting. I enjoy that a lot. You'll see elements of that in our Friday streams when we make fantasy maps on stream. I have a little bit of fun painting on those. But yeah, I can't really draw. I'm sure I could if I practiced more, but just not putting the time into it, you know. Leisha, Wriggly Little Hands has a lot of comic potential. I can see that. I would love to have it as a comic book one day. Dino, you said, what's my favorite book? I always ask what yours are, but what's my favorite? It rotates. It rotates day to day. I have kind of like a top 5 or top 10 favorite, and it's hard to pick. I'm going to go with... I'm looking at them on my shelf right now. Yeah, it's still a Lost World kind of day. I'm going to say the sequel to Jurassic Park, The Lost World by Michael Crichton. Both books are very good, but that one has a scene in it that just chills me to the bone to this day. It's so dramatic and so well done. It's a really fun read. Midnight Raven, good to see you. How you been? Welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you got a good week ahead, huh? Let's make it a good one. Zane, you said, I've got a story, but I don't know how to start, and I want to make a comic. Any advice? Start where you can, and remember the most important thing is to have fun with it. The readers can tell if you had fun when you were writing or not, so you got to make sure you're just having a good time with it. It makes the story better, be it a comic book or a novel. I can't tell you specifically for comic books. I can say for writing, just pick the coolest scene in there, what you think is just the coolest moment in the whole story, and start there. Write for fun. And if you need to go back and write stuff before that so it makes sense to the readers, totally fine. But when you're just testing the water, you're just figuring out if writing's for you, if you want to do it, pick the coolest thing that's just like a scene that's just so cool you want it to exist, and start there. I think that's a good way to do it. Blueberry, how did you get your money before you started writing? So I worked a full-time job before writing. I just worked an office job. And then I started freelancing on the side in my spare time. And as my freelancing income rose, I went back to part-time for my what was full-time job. And then as freelancing went up more, I just eventually dropped the full-time job and I freelanced. Then I picked up some ghostwriting from publishers, and I started ghostwriting romance novellas for them. And as that grew, freelance went down, ghostwriting went up, and then I was able to transition ghostwriting into writing under my own name. So I did a very smooth transition like that over a period of about 1.5 years, 2 years, in order to become a full-time writer, full-time author. It was a smooth, slow transition, which was like the safest way I was able to make it happen. There's always risk involved with it, but well worth it in my opinion. The Great Wolf asked, do you exclusively write fantasy? I write fantasy and lit RPG. So lit RPG's down here, fantasy's up here. Fantasy is where my heart is, though. I grew up reading it, and I really love writing it. I won't rule out new lit RPG, but I've written a lot of those lately, including I just finished this series, which was 5 books. So I'm in cool down timer for lit RPG for a little bit. Leisha, you're reading The Martian right now, and it's very good. Yes, it is. Right? The Martian's such a good book. Andy Weir's awesome. I hear Project Hail Mary is even better. I need to set aside time to read that one. I love Andy Weir's stuff. Really, really good books. I'm glad you're enjoying it, though. Get off my lawn, guy. I cannot legally tell you the romance novels that I ghost wrote, as I was under NDAs on them. They're nothing that you've heard of, probably. They weren't massive. I mean, they were fine. They were successful, but they weren't, any earth-shattering novels. I can tell you content, though. And I did write one that was centered around roller derby, was what the publisher wanted. So they wanted a roller derby romance. And I also wrote another one that was a cosplay romance story involving hidden identities. That was very fun. So I enjoyed writing both of those. Soul 7 said, I have been reading the Ranger books, and it's not as popular as I thought it would be, and it's fun. Who's that by, Soul? I'm not sure. I don't know which books you're talking about right off the bat. Hey, there you go, Natural. You said I wrote a one-shot as a first-time DM, and it helped me write so much. I think DMing is so close to being an author. They're basically the same skill set. I'm glad you see that overlap as well, and I'm glad it went well, too. It's fun, right? It's addicting. Soul7, you said, is it true that most not very popular books are fun to read more than the popular ones? It's all subjective. I think where that thought's coming from is that popular books are fine and they're good. There's nothing wrong with it. But there's also a lot of books out there that aren't popular that are still good. I think that's kind of where the idea comes from. But it's all subjective. It's about what you enjoy. I've read popular books that were great. I've read popular books that were bad. And same for not popular books. The good news is we have an infinity of choices out there. The task is just finding the ones that we want to read. 4-6, good morning, my friend. I apologize you're joining right as I'm wrapping up here. But hello, my man. I hope you had a good weekend. I'll tell you, the bean juice is good today. We made it sweet. I nailed it. Since I do it black, it's really easy to make it bitter, but we got the sweetness in there today. Blueberry, you're doing just fine, man. You said English isn't your first language, and yet you are speaking it very well, or writing it very well. Well done. You said, what does freelancing entail in terms of writing? So I was specifically a freelance writer. So I did a lot of business writing, copy for websites. I wrote copy for marketing campaigns, donation drives, etc., etc. And I transitioned that into writing. I worked with a lot of not-for-profits who needed to tell a story about why their mission was important. So I would take their true testimonials about people they helped and stuff and turn those into an easy-to-read message that got across why their mission was important and helped drive donations. And then that led into ghostwriting novellas for publishers. So that was kind of my transition into writing as an author. But the freelancing is essentially working for yourself and just finding your own clients. Natural, you said DMing is dangerously addictive. You're very character focused and you love writing characters. Hey, Joe Abercrombie, as an example, is an author who I think basically lives and dies by his characters. He writes such good characters. He is proof that you can make a book that's primarily just interesting characters and figure the plot out as you go along, and it's still darned good reading. So there ain't nothing wrong with being a character-first author. Don Pappas over on the video app, you said self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Which is winning these days? That's really hard to judge. I don't know if there's a winning there. I think it's pluses and minuses. Each one has its own pros and cons. It's really the experience that you're looking for. TradPub is harder to get into. It moves slower. But you've got a lot more potential to pop off in it because there's just less books to get traditionally published each year, and the publisher's going to put some amount of marketing weight behind your book. And you've already kind of been vetted, right? Like the agent that you signed with thought your work was good. The publisher that bought it thought it was good. So theoretically, you have a better chance of doing well. Self-publishing, anybody can do it. So there's a lot more noise to compete with. There's a lot more noise in the system. And you have to do all your own marketing for it. I don't know which one's winning. I don't think there's really a winning. I will say I think traditional publishing has struggles that it needs to overcome, but self-publishing is no different. So, like I said, pros and cons, I think. Blaze, what's up, my guy? Welcome in, buddy. Happy Monday to you. Natural, you said, what careers center around writing? I truly love storytelling. It's so fun. Writing jobs are hard. There's not that many of them out there, and they tend to not pay too well. Being an author is obviously one. You could be a game writer for a video game company, but writing the narratives for single-player games, stuff like that. But that's a smaller industry. You could obviously be a script writer for film or TV. That's probably one of the more lucrative ways to be a writer. There's a lot of different writing jobs out there. Those are kind of the big creative ones that I can think of immediately, but there are infinite varieties of different writing jobs. Oh, Glara, you're a professional fundraiser. Interesting. So you get it. You know the kind of copy that I was writing then. You got to show people why the mission's important, right? Why them donating to you makes a difference in the world. Blueberry, you said thank you for being so open. I'll definitely check Wriggly Little Hands out. Well, thank you, Blueberry. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. It was a pleasure to have you, and you asked some great questions that I enjoyed answering. As a reminder, if you want to read Wriggly, it's on Amazon now. It's also an audiobook made by the same folks who made Dungeon Crawler Carl, so you might recognize Jeff Hayes on there. But also, if you want to try out some of my writing, but you don't want to drop any cash just yet, check out A Wriggly Little Assistant. It is a prequel to Wriggly Little Hands, and if you sign up for my newsletter or join my Discord, both of which are linked in my bio, you get this for free. So call it an appetizer. You can see if you might like reading a bit more deep into my back catalog. Give it a look. I'd appreciate it. Soul7, you said, I have a question or request on such specific books. Hit me with it. I'm wrapping up here, but go ahead and throw that at me, and I'll see if I can answer it. Glara, you said, now there are people collecting the special edition books for the artwork. Yeah, that's kind of a whole thing now. Special edition books are popping off right now. That's a trendy place to be. Soul7, you said, do you have any recommendations on a book about a main character being an occultist? Nothing springs to mind right off the bat. I think there are things that would loosely fit into it, kind of. In fact, I guess if I'm going to give one, I would say check out Lockwood & Co. I'll put it in chat. By Jonathan Stroud. Very good series. I'm on book 3 of 5, I believe, with it. I've really enjoyed it. I think you would like it if you're looking for occult vibes. It's very ghost centric. It's fun. It's YA, maybe even younger YA, but I even as a full adult still enjoy it. It's just a really creepy, fun world. Jackhand, that's a steep price to pay for book art. Sorry, y'all. I get why you're trying to convince yourself. It's a balance. If the artwork's going to be worth it, you want good cover art for your book. The cover is probably your most important marketing tool. But all the money you put into it is money you have to make back before you're in the positive. I try to keep it beneath that number, beneath 1,000. More around the 600 number if I can, but depends. If I'm funding it myself, I keep it around there. If I've got an advance from the publisher, then I just look at that as an excuse to pay artists, and that's really fun to me. Oh, thank you, Tam and Skinny Jeans, for some good occult recommendations in chat for Soul. Thank you very much for that, y'all. Well, y'all, I need to get to working today. I mean, this is kind of work for me, but I got to get to writing today. So thank you for joining me today. If you don't know, I have been Alex Knight, author Alex Knight. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. And we're always doing something fun. On Wednesday, I think we're going to do one more week of the fantasy maps. So if you're going to come back and join me on Wednesday, 1, please give me a follow so you know when I go live. But 2, come equipped on Wednesday with your favorite fantasy map. Just tell me about it. I'll look it up on stream, and then we're going to geek out over it together. We're going to look at it, talk about it, kind of see what's going on there. And that'll lead right into Friday, where we're going to continue making our own fantasy map live on stream. It's going to be fun. We had a great Wednesday doing that last week. So I'm excited to do it again. So I will see you then. But before I go, as always, a special thanks to Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com for the use of his songs Farm, Manor, Cottages, and Northern Glade, which provided our background music today. As well, an extra special thank you to Raffi the engineer, who made our 5th background song, Midnight at the Round Table. Raffi wrote and produced that song just for stream. How cool was that, man? Thank you, Raffi. I appreciate you, buddy. Of course, no stream's complete without a shout out to my excellent moderators, Melissa Lee, 28, Rafi the Engineer, aka Slendy, my man, One Happy Harpy, Simp1X, other name wasn't available, Alicia T and Aaron Winnick. Y'all, I appreciate you. Thank you for moderating. Thank you for keeping it nice and chill around here, but also thank you, chat, for doing the same. Y'all bring good vibes every day, and I appreciate that. Folks, if you've enjoyed the stream, please give me a follow. I'd love to see you on the next one. And if you want to do a little extra, check out my books. See if there's something interesting there you might like to read. And let me know what you think. Thank you very much for being here today, y'all. I had fun. I hope you did. Hope you learned a little bit. Hope I provided good answers to your questions. We'll see. But a big thank you to Tide and Tara for being here as always. I appreciate you. Glara, Leisha T, Jack Ann, y'all, thank you for being here, for real. I appreciate you. Shout out to Slendy and Midnight Raven. And Blueberry, it was a pleasure to meet you today, Blueberry. Other name wasn't available, Skitty Jeans, Mid-Mix, and Austin Penix. Thank you for being here, folks. And let's see, let's check over on the video app real quick. Who we got hanging out? Jake Hartman, saw you on TikTok and the video app today. MMD Freak, it was a pleasure to meet you. Don Pappas, thank you for your questions. Jeremy, it's good to have you back, buddy. Y'all, thank you for being here today. I hope you had fun. I certainly did, and I will see you on the next one. Y'all, be excellent to each other.